Hello everyone, and welcome to the third day of our bootcamp project. Hello everyone, and welcome to the third day of our. Sorry about the same. It was the YouTube. Great. So I'll just share my screen quickly and let's get started with today's session, which is the last day, and we are going to create a mini project on the same. Any questions, anyone, on any of the topics that we covered yesterday? Great. So yesterday we saw about creating a class, properties in a class, how do we create object of the class, how do we access the data members. So we can just have a quick revision of what we did yesterday. So we had an account holder class, which had the properties. We discussed the properties to be private, and why they should be private is we also understood that for security purposes, so that no one can just change the data, and the data should be changed only via functions where we can write business logic. So that is where then we had the getters and setters, because that is where we can write some business logic to provide any validations that is required. Okay. We have seen constructors. We also understood that the constructors are called only when the object of the class is created using the new keyword, passing in the values to initialize the object. Constructor's main purpose is, as we understood yesterday, is to initialize the values. You can write if, you can write for, you can write while, you can write any programming construct that you require. It is possible. We also saw that constructors are called the moment you say new, and the constructor is called passing in the values to the parameters, initializing the variables. Using the dot operator, we are able to call the methods, only those which are not private. So if I go ahead and here if I say C1 dot, you will not get the account ID, name, address, email, because they are private variables. But you will have access to the setters, you will have the access to the getters. You do not call a constructor using dots. You will not see C1 dot and the account holder constructor. See, it's not available. So you never call a constructor on a dot, because constructors are only called the first time when you say new and the object is created with the values that you initialize. You can use setters to update the values, and you can use getters to get the values for those properties. You can use toString to display the entire information about the object. You can customize the toString as to what information you want it to return. One very important point to note over here is we generally do not return passwords. So any confidential information that your class may consist of, you should not return that in a toString method, because anyone can have access to, and that can be tampered. Okay. So it's very important that you do not return any sensitive information in a plain text, which can be accessed by anyone, and it can be hacked, and it can be used against your application. That's very important. We also understood that if I want to create multiple objects of the same class, writing it this way is exhaustive. Then we got introduced to array of objects, which has two steps. One, creation of an array, and then creation of every object in the array. If I missed this step, what happens? Anyone remember? We saw that yesterday. If I miss creation of every object in the array, what happens? Anyone remember what happened yesterday? Yes, anyone in the Zoom, anyone in the YouTube? No. If you do not create the object, it throws null pointer exception. Okay. It will not get the last updated value. It will give you the null pointer exception. So it's very important that you understand that when you create an array of objects, you create the array specifying the number of objects you want to store. And then for every index or every position in the array, you also have to create the object and then you store that object in that particular index. Okay, great. So this is all we did yesterday. Now let's move on to next topic, which is an advanced version of arrays, which is collections. So let's understand list. So list is a type of collection, which is basically used to store more than one values, but it's actually awesome to use list because it's easy. It provides you with a different syntax and arrays. It has methods, and as Java developers, we are much more convenient in working with methods than working with, say, objects, say arrays and indexing and all that stuff. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to create a new class under the package called as collection. So list is a structure which allows you to store more than one value like arrays. With a difference is, so let me write down these. I'll create a list demo. We'll just focus on list. What is a list, the various operations on the list and what it provides you with. And then we will modify our account holder to be able to store the list of account holder objects. So the syntax to create a list is list allows you to store more than one value of same or different types. Okay, that's the beauty. Size is not fixed. Size can vary. So as you add the items, the size changes. As you remove the items, the size decreases. So list uses less memory. How do you create a list? Is you have an array list. So it's an advanced version of an array. So array and you say array list. Now, if I say array list in the editor, it provides with a diamond bracket. We call it as a diamond bracket because you can see it looks like a diamond. Okay. They are also called as angular brackets. So they are called as angular or diamond brackets. So diamond because the shape looks like a diamond, and angular brackets because it's a less than sign, greater than sign, it's an angle sign. Hence, they are also called as angular brackets. Okay. Why do we have this angular brackets? Let's remove it. So will it work? Let's see. So I want to create a list. I would say array list equal to new array list. Okay. I'll remove this angular brackets from here as well. Done. So my list object is created, but there is no data. So if I go ahead and print list, and if I run, it's empty because there are no items yet. You go ahead and you access the list variable dot. You can see there are various methods available to work with the data stored in the list. The first function that we'll be learning is add. I want to add a value 10. I want to add hello. I want to add a decimal value. I want to add duplicates. Let's see. Let's print it. We got the data. So it's 10, hello, decimal value, and the integer value as well. So indeed, list allows to store data of different types. Okay. Great. It's working. How do I access the data in the list? So I want to get one value. I can use the normal for loop as we saw in the arrays I equal to 0. Again, for the list, the indexing starts from 0, semicolon, I less than list dot. Now, arrays had a property called as length. String have a property called as length. Because once you create an array or once you create a string, it is fixed. Lengths are fixed. Size grows and shrinks. List has a method called as size. You won't see a length because whenever we use the term length, it's always for finite. But whenever you use size, it's always that can grow or shrink. Okay. So an I++. It's a list. It has methods. To add a value in the list. So what will you use to get the values from the list? As I am saying, I want to get the values from the list at index 0. If I run this, now it will print the values 10, hello, 34.67, and 10 in separate lines. What about if I want to store this data in a variable and say calculate square of numbers? Can I do that? Let's try it out. I say int n equals to list.get of I. Now this gives me an error. Let's see what is the error. Can someone highlight? Do you think what is the error? Anyone? Anyone wants to give their sense onto it? See, if I hover, type mismatch cannot correct it. Data type. No, not declaration of n. Correct. So if I say object n, it works. When you store data, right, you would want to perform some operations on the data. You're not just using list to store data. You will store, but you'll also perform some operations like filtering, sorting, calculating something, processing the data, getting a part of the data or whatever it is. Because you're going to perform some operations on the data, even though list allows to store data of different types, whenever you create a list, you specify the type. So, and that is what an angular bracket was. If I go ahead and I create a list, and I'll just move this to say refactor, rename, and I'll make it list 1. You can see all the down below variables change to 1. So again, this is one more technique, the way you refactor your code so that if you're using that variable at 100 locations, you don't have to go and modify manually. Your editor takes care of that. Okay. Now, let me add generics. So the concept that I'm using is generics. So I'm going to say angular bracket. I want to store all the values of type integer. Now you see it gives me an error because hello and decimal values are not of type integers. My compiler only complains you cannot even compile, so how will you execute? Fine. So I cannot store values of any other type except integers. Now, because this list is of type integer, I can easily go ahead and say int n. It's not giving me error this time, the way it gave me error over here. And I can say n into n because I know it is storing all because I know it is storing all the values of type integer. So I can apply any mathematical operation onto it because the data is of similar type. That is where these diamond brackets or the angular brackets come into picture. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Fine. Now, if I create a list to store string, I can do that as well. So I can say list2, and now I can only add, you can see it now, it's string. So I can only add objects of type string. So let me take this as colors. Red, blue, green, cyan, black, brown. Okay. Now I know it stores data of type string. So I can apply operations of type string on the same. So I can say for, I can use this colors dot size, and I can say colors dot get of I, and suppose I only want to print color that starts with the letter P. I can do that. What about if this was uppercase P? It won't take it because it is case sensitive. Okay. So that is how the it works. So then if you want it with uppercase and lowercase, then you will be writing with the logical operator, uppercase or lowercase p. And then if I run, you will get blue, black, and brown, all the three. Yes, you're the equals ignore case. So I'm not comparing, right? I'm checking whether it starts with. So, and starts with doesn't have something called as starts with ignore case. It doesn't has that. So I won't be able to use that. Okay. So I will have to use an OR operator and then compare for the cases, or alternatively, because this is tedious for every letter which I would be having, I can do one thing. I can say get me and convert to lowercase. So then for every string, for every condition, then it works. So it gets the value, converts to a specific case that I want. So then I don't have to use OR, and I will be able to just write with a single case. So then it becomes convenient. Okay. So this is how you can create list. You can have operations. You can also say, for example, colors dot. So it has various functions. If not all of them, we can at least see few of them. I want to check whether it contains a color with red. So it returns true because yes, it has a value with red. Okay. It has functions like if it is empty, if you want to remove, so you have two variations of remove. I can say remove with the index 1. So it will remove blue. Okay. Or else I can say remove green. So it will remove with the value which is green. In case you add a value which doesn't exist, and if you try to remove, it just returns false, but it doesn't throw an error. So if a particular value doesn't exist in the list, it says cannot remove. So it returns false, and that's it. Then I can update. So I can say set. I want to set for 0 index. It is red. Maybe I want to set it with pink. So if you don't want to give any condition, don't give. Just print the color. Your choice. Okay. Now if I print colors, you would see it updates the value at index 0, which was red, to pink. And it returns the previous value of, it also returns the previous value at that index. So you can say it prints, gives me red. So in case you want to take the old value and you want to update with the new value, but you want to have, say, a backup of the old value, or you want to do something, you can do that. So you have that space before you update. You get the old value and then you can update with the new value. And one last thing, you can also say sort. Sorry, I can say collections dot sort, and I can provide the list that I want to sort. So it is colors. And if I just print colors, you will see it will be in the ascending order of the alphabets. So A, B, C, D, F, G, P, Q, R. So collections.sort is going to sort the list. Fine. So this is about list, storing data in the list, the angular bracket syntax, the generic sign, and how it works. Now I'm going to create a mini project. Let's go ahead and do that. And then if time permits, maybe we can see a variation of adding exception handling. So and I'm going to copy the account holder class. We will reuse that. Okay. And yesterday someone was asking for has a relationship. We will have that as well. So let me see what all is there in the account holder. So let me just make it neat. Let me not add address for it. Just keep it simple. Maybe I can add a property for password instead of that. Okay. I'll remove this. I'll ask Eclipse to create a parameterized constructor. Okay. And we don't need this. So I'll just make it simple. Set balance. I'll remove all these comments that we saw yesterday. And we don't have address. Done. I won't print the password as I discussed. You should not print the password. So I'm not printing that. Now, a bank will consist of list of account holders. Okay. It will provide methods to add account holder. And I would say if just to show, so if in case time permits, we can actually see exception handling. So I would say if holder dot, okay, so add account holder. I'm going to generate a random ID for the account holder. So instead of just having a generic, I would say static int count equal to 0. And I'm adding one account holder. So here I will not take the ID as a parameter because I am creating the ID in my code. Okay. Now here I would say equals to null. I would say return false. Else, so just a simple thing, I would say add the holder object and return true because it was able to add. Okay, I can also do this. So I can say for. I'm going to show you a different variation. Ishwar, for the CSS, CSV files, you need to have a separate library. In Java directly you cannot have. Then you will have to learn first file handling. And after you learn file handling, you will have to learn how to access. So CSV files, Excel files, they have their own format. So you will have to use a third-party library to be able to access these type of files because CSV files have a delimiters, Excel files have workbook and sheets, fields, rows, and columns. So they have a separate format. For that, you have a third-party library which you can use it, and you will be able to read those kind of files. But I'm sorry, that that is something which is out of the scope of a 3-day session. Okay. I can also check that so instead of writing int I equal to 0, I'm also showing a different variation of for. So I can say for every account holder inside the account holders array, okay, I'm going to check if account holder dot get email is equal to the holder dot get email. So I don't want two users with same email ID. If it is equal, I'm going to say return false because I cannot have two account holders with the same email ID registered. Okay. If not, then I add and I say return true. Done. You want to be able to have a function. So for that, I can just use I just want to generate a getter. not for the count, I'll generate. One more thing before I add on, I also want to set an ID because the account ID cannot be null. So I would be saying, say, for example, A and count. Okay. Done. So I want to get the list of account holders. Perfect. I get it. I want to be able to get the details of an account holder. So I would say get account holder by ID, passing in the account ID. And I'm going to use the same. And I would say if dot get account ID dot equals the account ID, I return the account holder object, or else I return none. Okay. Simple methods. One that adds new account holders. That's what a bank does. So you can see it's has a relationship. That's that it has a list of account holder objects. We also saw how to get all the list of the account holders and getting the account holder by ID. Okay. Now let's write a menu-driven main class. So I would say a client application with a main method. So I would say choose one, open new account. I can say choose two, display all account holders. I can say choose three, by ID. I can say choose four, exit application. Okay. I'm going to run this in an infinite loop. Then only we'll be able to see the operations. So to do that, I'm going to have a Boolean variable stop equal to false. Only when the stop is true, I stop. So I'll say while not stop. Okay. Just try to understand very carefully. We are actually going to simulate a real-time project the way you do. So it's as good as you go to a website. You have links for login, register. I know I won't be able to simulate the exact website kind of a scenario for login, log out, register, opening new accounts, getting your account details, having security, providing passwords. Let's see how many functionalities we can add in next an hour. But I will try to complete as much as possible and give you an overview of when you create a project, how basically it looks like. Okay. Now, this will run infinitely. I will be having a scanner object because I will be taking inputs. So I'll say scanner sc equal to new scanner and system.in. I'm also going to have the bank object because it will be required for any operations that you want to do. I'm also going to declare few variables. So say, for example, name will be empty. I can have email, which will be empty, or it can be null as well. So let me just put it null. name, email, password, balance, name, email, password, balance, and phone. And so I can reuse the variables, declared it once, so it becomes easier. That's all. Now I'm also going to introduce another construct which we haven't seen in the past 2 days. So we saw the if else. So I can say, so okay, let me do this. So I would be saying in choice equal to sc dot next int. Done. It works. Now I can say if choice equal to 1, else if choice equal to 2. So every time saying if, else if, we have a more concise syntax, which is switch. So I can say switch and I want to switch in the values coming in the variable which is choice, and for case 1, it is going to be opening new account. And I say break because once that particular case is over, I want to come out of the switch case and display the menu again. Then I can have case 2. So we will be completing the code. Hold on to it. This will be to display details, right? And then I would say break. So for me, I always write a small part of the code. I test if it's working. If it's working, only then I will go ahead with the next part of the code. So till now it was just simple, declaring some variables, scanners, some objects, writing an infinite loop, taking the choice as an input, and just writing some few cases. Case 3 is for on detail by ID, and I will say break. And if it is case 4, I would be making the stop variable to true because I need to exit the application. If in case user enters a wrong choice, I need to handle that. So I would be saying in default, please enter correct option. Let's see if this is working, if it runs an infinite loop unless I want to exit. So let's test this part. Okay. So choose open new account. 1, opening new account. Perfect. Again, choose 2, display details. Again, choose 3, get account detail by ID. I say 5, it says please enter correct option. And now if I say 4, it stops. Okay. So maybe I can say before it exits the entire application, I would, sorry. Maybe I mean just simulate that, yes, we are out of the system. Okay. So in websites, when you log out, you actually go to the home page. So just simulating that. This is how it looks like. Now let's go ahead for the opening new account. So again, I will be asking the user, enter name, and we already have the variable. Enter name, enter password, enter for password. What I have done, I've done something for password as well. No. Okay. Enter email, enter balance, and 4. So this will be password. This will be email. This will be balance, and this will be phone. Okay. As usual, once we get the data, we create an account holder object, passing in all the information. And I will be then calling the bank object. So because it returns true or false, let's see if my bank is able to, does it allows me to add this? So if it returns true, I would say account opened successfully. Okay. And here and in the display details, I will have access to all the account holder objects. So I can say account holder from the bank dot get account holders, and I can say print the holder objects. Alternatively, I can say if so list account holders equals to we will see the edit part as well, Ishwar. Hold on to that. If time permits, we will see the edit part. Okay. And I would be saying if holder dot size if it is empty, then I would say no account holders yet. Else, I will go here and then I will iterate and print every account holder. Okay, so let's see. Try running this if it works. Two, it should display no account holders yet. Let me also do one thing. So then we can have a distinction. Opening your account. Um, now it's off. Fine. I'll rerun. I say 2. No account holders yet. Right. Then I again say choose, open new account, blah, blah. So I would say 1. I want to open a new account. I would enter a name. I would enter a password. I would enter an email. I'm not checking anything, so I don't have any validations. Maybe I can do this. Enter some balance, enter some phone. So account opened successfully. What I want to do, I want to open one more account. So I would say enter Ajay. I would say enter password Ajay. I would say enter email as gmail.com. And I would say enter balance. I would say enter phone. So here, okay, I haven't displayed else. So account opened successfully, else. Please contact support. Okay. So right now I'm not stopping it, but it did not display the output, could not open account. And if you see that, I don't have the Ajay because it returned false. The reason being, the email ID was same. It already exists in my database, so it did not open the account for the same email ID. And then if I can go to 3, okay, we haven't completed that. So this is how you basically create a kind of a menu-driven application where you can display a menu, where you can ask the users the various choices. See, it's a normal, simple console-based application. You cannot do much over here, but it's more about understand. So you can just imagine you are simulating when you go to a website or a mobile app and you basically click on the links and you perform different operations. So that's what this menu is giving. So I'm giving 4 options and I can choose any one that I want, right? So that is what it's kind of. So that's the best that we can do because everything is on the console. And for a web application, it's not just straightforward. You have to learn various other concepts before you can actually create a website. So I'll take a pause, understand what we have done, and I'll watch for any questions. Otherwise, we'll continue. Okay. So no questions here. Now let's update for getting the account detail by ID. So and also you should be seeing that the account ID is generated. If you will add more, then you will see A1, A2, A3, and so on. So let's see for enter account ID. And next. And bank dot get account holder by ID and passing in the choice. Vaishnavi, the problem statement is we are creating a banking application where as a customer, I can open a new account. I can see my details and I can see all the account holders. So we are basically, and as time permits, we will be customizing the same project. So we'll be withdrawing, depositing, and adding more functionalities to it. So it's kind of a mini bank project to understand that I'm going to add account holders in a bank. There will be new account holders, displaying all the account holders, getting the account holder by ID. So I want to get a detail of a single account. So I can do that as well. And we will also be deleting account, updating account, and we will see all the operations that we can perform. Okay. Now, if it is not equal to null, that means So if and display the details, else it should be string because my account ID is string. And here account does not exist. And great. So let's see in action. Let me maximize this. 2, no account holders yet. 3, enter account ID. Account does not exist because there are no account holders yet created. 1, I'll say Shalini at gmail.com. Enter balance, enter some phone number. So account opened successfully. Again, I'll enter for one more. So maybe I can say John at gmail.com. Balance, enter some phone number. Account opened successfully. And I have one condition right here. Folder is null. Okay, that will never come. I try to open one more account. This is with the name as Shalini again. You add properties, Ishwarna, in the account holder class. You can add a string, Aadhaar ID number, byte array image. So images of byte array. And again for PAN. And you can do all that stuff. So that can be done. And suppose and enter some balance, enter some phone. So it says could not open account, please contact support, right? And if I say 2, it displays 1 and 2. So you can see A1 and A2, John and Shalini. I want to get the account details by ID. So I can enter. I got the account details for account ID, A2. I say 4. It says you are successfully logged out. Okay. So this was simple mini project to provide with adding a new account. Now let's say I want to delete it. So I would be saying public boolean delete account by ID. And again, okay, now if I use this, for deletion, we don't use this syntax. And if account holders dot get of I dot get account ID dot equals the account ID means account exists, I would say account holders dot remove the value at index I and return. If not, it would return false. Okay. So a simple delete function which iterates over the account holder's object. It checks for an account holder with the ID. If it exists, it removes from the list. So we just saw in the list how we can remove an item. I'm able to remove. And if I'm successful, I return true, or else I return false. So let's go ahead and in the client, and it becomes 5. Case 4. Then I'll copy this and you can say enter account ID to delete. ID equal to SC dot next. If bank dot delete account by ID, if it returns true, I would say account successfully deleted. Else, could not delete the account. I wrote the code, Ishwar. Did you miss that part? So here I'm using a static variable. I'm incrementing that and I'm generating the account ID myself. So I wrote the code of having dynamic account IDs. Okay. Where was I? Ah. So let's see if deletion is working and my account holder now. This is same name. It's a phone. Modify the output. I'm not liking that, the way it's printing. And this makes no sense. And here, I just add a sys out. So fine. I'll maximize this. I'll read it. So we saw display knowledge working. Open new account. A at a.com. 6,000. Some phone number. Account open successfully. Again one. So B Enter some balance. Account opened successfully. Okay. No, account ID. So if you sure you will have to specify what do you mean when you say duplicate, because account ID is dynamically generated, right? So any new person comes in for opening an account. So maybe you can, generally people register with their mobile numbers. So as a customer, I myself have two accounts in a bank. So I can have multiple accounts and they will have different account IDs. So yes, that is possible. I can have same account with same. So again, see, you can go into that complexity of having um, one customer with same phone number and same email ID having multiple accounts. Okay. In my case, whenever an account is getting opened, I am basically not allowing with the same email ID. So then you can have a functionality to say that add this account to the existing account holder. So you can have that as a separate functionality because that is a requirement. You are allowing same customer to open multiple accounts. So if that is something you want, you will have to write that functionality. In my case, I'm assuming one customer will have only one account that will be open. So I am doing with that particular scenario. To handle duplicates, you can check with phone number or email ID. So I've done with email ID. If the email already exists, means that account holder already has an account, maybe, or it's a duplicate. So I've done that with email ID. Okay. So choice is yours. It's not about a choice. It's more about the business requirement. So you will have to customize your code for that. Where was I? I have added two accounts. Maybe I'll add one more. So account opened successfully. I say 2. It displays, you can see 1, 2, 3, all the account details. I say 3. I want to get the account holder details by ID. So you can see A1, A2, A3. I say A1. I get the details of the account holder A1. I want to delete an account. I can say 4. I enter the account ID to delete. I say A1. Account successfully deleted. Oh, I'm logged out. Phew, what was that? That means I forgot a break. So delete is work. So if I run it once again to just show you, 1A account opened successfully, 1BB account opened successfully, 1CC at c.com. Enter some balance, enter some phone number, account opened successfully, 2ABC. I want to delete, so I would say A2. Account deleted successfully. Let's see. 2. I have A and C because B was deleted. Let me delete an account that doesn't exist. A2 could not delete the account. Please contact support. Or maybe I can say the account doesn't exist or whatever it is. Okay. So, and then I can say 5. You are successfully logged out. So we actually created a mini project which basically helped you perform some CRUD operations, adding, deleting, fetching a particular account object. Updation, I would say you take care of that. It's not that I cannot do it. The thing is, I want to highlight one more important concept before we actually end our today's session. So we have 20 minutes. So let's do that. Now, you would see that when I am trying to add an account, if the email is same, it returns false. Let me also check for phone. So I am saying if email ID is same, I cannot add the account. If phone number is same, I cannot add the account. Okay, fine. If I go ahead and run, I say a or a.com, some balance, some phone number, done. Account opened successfully. I again want to open one more account. I say b at b.com. I enter some balance. I enter the phone number. It says could not open account. Please contact support. I again say one. I say CC and a.com because I have that email ID. Enter some balance. Enter some phone number. Again, it says could not open account. Please contact support. If you would see, I don't know the reason of why I am not able to open the account. What about if I am able to provide a custom message saying could not open the account because of so and so reason? So email ID is same or phone number is same. I want to have separate messages. Plus, I also want to update this to return string. And instead of true, I want to return the generated account ID. So, or I would say, so generally, when you create you open an account, you so Ishwar, in my case, the CIF number is the account ID. Okay, I agree to your point. But I'm just going. So not everyone might be aware with the CIF numbers, may or may not be. I don't know if they come with the banking background or not, if they have an account or not, because we have learners over here as well. So I just choose account ID. Okay. Now here I want to return the holder object, which I have added because it contains all the information. So when you go to a website, when you register, it provides you that, it sends an email to you specifying that these were the information provided and you have been registered with this information. So basically, after an account is registered successfully, I want to be able to get the details and to be able to print those details that you have been registered successfully with the following details. I want to get that. Okay. Now, because I'm returning an account holder object, of course, I cannot return a false. I cannot return a Boolean value. The way that Java allows you to handle this is, if holder is null, that's an error because holder cannot be null. I can say throw new exception object cannot be null. In our case, I will never get this because I'm always creating an object, but just to showcase. Same, I can go ahead and I can say duplicate email, and same here I can say duplicate phone. Okay. When I do this, I'm able to return specific messages. So I can say here, I'm saying what is the problem, duplicate email. I'm saying what's the problem, duplicate phone. So I need to customize, I need to modify or refactor my client application. Then here, I cannot use this. And instead, I would be saying, bank dot add account holder H1. Okay, then now if I hover, because it throws an exception, I have to handle it with try catch. So here I have a method which throws an exception, which in the client class, I'm supposed to handle it. And actually this becomes so pretty straightforward. I can say, get message, please try again or contact support. Okay. And if I'm able to get the details, I would say account created successfully with following details. So actually it allows me to create custom messages when I use the exception handling. So I'm throwing different messages for different types of responses. And if none, I'm returning the actual object. And then in my client class, I'm getting the account holder object and I'm trying to execute the statement. If there are any issues, I'm handling those issues over here. Otherwise, my account is created successfully. Okay. So then let's see in action. One, phone, account created successfully with following details, account ID A1. Perfect, it works. Again, this is an issue. Phone is 12345, but here the phone is 1212. What happened? Let's see. Because let's try to identify the issue. Let me see when it creates. Oh, name A. Price phone 1. Okay, let's see. My phone is long. Sorry, my bad. So I guess. See, that's the issue. My God, I did not realize that. So now, Let me check name, password, phone, email, balance. See, I didn't realize it took choice. That's so weird. Okay, now I guess it should work. So let's rerun. 1, A, A, A at a.com, some balance and some phone number. Few. Yes, now I have phone 1212, email done. Again, 1 and B at b.com, some balance, some phone number. Great. Account created successfully. 2, I got the details. 1, I want to open an account. C at c.com, some balance and phone number 1234. So you can see duplicate phone, please try again or contact support, right? I say 1, C and B at b.com, 3000. Now my number is different. Duplicate email. So you can see previously it was duplicate phone. Now very nicely it displays duplicate email. Okay, please try again. So, and now if I say 1, C at c.com, some balance, phone number. So account created successfully. I say 2, I get the 2 details. I say A1, A2, A3. I say A3. I get the account details for account ID 3. I say 4. So we just want to verify that yes, the previous code after changes, they're also working. A1, account successfully deleted. So let's see if it's deleted. I would say 2. So yes, B and C, A1 is deleted. And I say 5, it's you are successfully logged out. Okay. So any questions? I'll wait 2 minutes for any questions, or we can add one more functionality to it. So anything, it doesn't has to be with the code that I have created. It can be anything else as well. Yes, Divya, today is the last session. Diksha, it is not even for a website. It is not even for data saving. I mean, I'm not even saving data anywhere. There is no database or files. It is just a temporary application storing data temporarily. So if I say run it again, I entered 3 accounts, but if I say 2, it says no account holders yet, because it's stored in the variables within your Java and done and dusted. So if you want to persist, or if you want to have the data permanently stored, you will have to learn how to do database handling, or maybe say file handling to store data in a file. But without that, it won't be possible. So it's just temporary, just running. And so basically we are not focusing on saving the data, but more focusing on understanding whatever we learned in the past 3 days with respect to class, variables, data types, operators, if else, loops, the while loop, the for loop, and how do they work, arrays, array of objects, how they are different, what needs to be taken care of, what you need to be aware of, what issues you cannot have, how to handle the issues, We also saw with respect to class, objects, constructors, getters, setters, and we actually have a mini application where we are actually displaying the menu, and based on the menu, we are able to perform various operations. So it's more about understanding a CRUD kind of an application. So CRUD, if in case anyone is not aware of, so we generally use CRUD, which implies create, read, update, and delete. So whenever you go to any website, you have these operations. You register, that is create. You fetch data, that is read. You update, that is the update. You want to delete something, that is the delete. Diksha, you can have any options. You can go with blogging applications, e-commerce websites, banking websites, a library management system. You can go with a hotel management system. I mean, there are so many that you can go on. So you can have, you can get any kind of an application. You can have a club management system. So wherein you want to have people joining a club and maybe say providing their expertise. So you can have a kind of a club as well. So any kind of project, you can even search online some ideas for many project in say whatever technology you want to use, Java, .NET, Angular, React, whatever. You will get plethora of options. I mean, Google Auntie is there and it actually gives you lots and lots of options. You can, so any website that you see, right? E-commerce applications are so common. A Zomato, a Swiggy, anything. So you can pick up anything and you can start creating of your own. Yes, I agree to that, Praveen. You will be requiring a database. Without that, you cannot do it. But I'm sorry. Apologies, I cannot cover the database part. It was just 3 days, 1.5 hours every day. So it would have been too much. I guess for those who are new to programming, for them as well, I would say that this might be too much for them also to handle. Yeah, I understand Mindum Thamis that these are common projects. So for different projects, you will have to really scratch your brains and to come up with something different that doesn't exist. So maybe say a furniture renting, maybe say a flight reservation. I mean, there are many. I mean, you can see real-time businesses. And based on that, you can, yeah, college event management system as well. Anything. Yes, you can, Trishan. It's available at YouTube, so you can watch them again anytime. Can we get database somewhere else? I didn't get that. Expense tracker, yes, you can have that as well. Perfect. Yes. Praveen, is Java in safe hands in future? Java is safe. Java is secure. It's not going anywhere recently. Believe me, it's been 15 years into the IT industry, and every now and then I'm getting more projects for Java only. So believe me, it's not, I mean, not sooner, not 10 to 15 years, at least if I can foresee that. And anyways, you cannot predict the future. I mean, you don't know, right? Uh, Password manager website. Yeah, you can. You can create any banking application. So a bank provides with so many types of scenarios. So portfolio management can be one. Account management system can be two. Um, uh, Loan management system can be three. Parking system can be something. I do, I do have my YouTube channel, but that's separate from this one. For cyber security, I'm not into cyber security, Krishnaveni, so I'm not sure about that. So basically my name is Shalini Mittal, and yeah, that's what I can provide you with at the max. And yeah, so do I have do you can do Android development? Yes, you can do Android development. Definitely you can. For Java, but I would say if you want to go with Android, or maybe I would say mobile app development, then in that case, I would suggest learning React Native. Because React Native allows you to create applications using React Native. You can use creating applications for Android and iOS both. So it's awesome. Okay. So, Praveen, I answered your question only for Android development. So that's what I answered all your questions. Okay, and the codes will be available to you. So let's upgrade. We'll take care of that. And that's all from my side for today. Thank you so much. And nice meeting all of you, and very interactive sessions. And thanks so much for asking all the questions. Take care, keep learning, and keep growing. So bye-bye and take care.
Hello, ma'am. Could you please
Yes.
make me the host?
Okay, you're not the host. I'll do that. Hold on. Are you now? Um,
Yep, it's done. Thank you so much. So we are good to go to end the session.
sure. Thank you
Yeah.
so much and see
Bye
you.
bye all.
Bye.